Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum. Welcome to a new video on Python. In this video, we are going to discuss Panda SQL. Panda SQL is a library which enables running SQL queries in Panda. Panda SQL library has provided a way to integrate SQL queries in Panda. Panda is usually known for its extensive usage in data analysis and data science, whereas SQL is known for its performance, its human readability, and easy to understand. Therefore, Panda SQL has combined the ease of SQL queries in Panda. We will first begin with installing the Panda SQL library. And depending upon the interface we are using, we will install the Panda SQL library. If we are using Python console, we will use the syntax pip install Panda SQL. And if we are using Jupyter Notebook, then we will use syntax !conda install --yes Panda SQL. --yes flag is used to bypass the yes and no prompt which usually appears during the installation of programs. So we will begin with installing the Panda SQL library. Then we will import this Panda SQL library in our Jupyter Notebook so that we can perform some basic data analysis by using SQL queries in Panda. So let's begin with installing the Panda SQL library. So we are on Jupyter Notebook. We'll open a new Python file. And since we are using Jupyter Notebook, so I'll use the syntax !conda install --yes Panda SQL. We'll run this. It will take 3 to 4 minutes to install the Panda SQL library. So here we are. We have installed the Panda SQL library. Now we will import Panda SQL library. And to import Panda SQL library, we will write the syntax from Panda SQL import SQL df. We'll run this. Sorry, it's Panda SQL. Now we have imported the Panda SQL library in our Jupyter Notebook. Now we can write SQL queries in Panda and perform some basic data analysis functions on data frames. But to perform data analysis, we need some data frame. And to create data frame, we have to import Panda library in our Jupyter Notebook. So to import Panda library, we will write the syntax import pandas as pd. We'll run this. So we have imported Panda library. Now we can create data frames so that we are able to perform some basic data analysis function on those data frames using SQL queries. So let's see what data analysis functions we can perform. We have imported the Panda SQL library. We have imported the Panda in our Jupyter Notebook. Now some basic data analysis function that we can perform using SQL queries are column selection, data filtering, data aggregation, and data joining. We'll use the syntax SQLDF to query our data frames in Python. So let's create some data frames. We can create a data frame in Python using list. We can create data frames using dictionaries. We can also import data frame from CSV files or XLS files, Excel files. So here we are using dictionary method to create data frames in Python. So dictionaries are created using a curly bracket method, and it has two components. It has key and its corresponding value. Keys are the names of the columns of our data frames, and values are the contents of respective columns of our data frame. So let's create a dictionary and then we will convert it into a data frame. Let's create our first data frame which consists of 4 columns: name, email, age, and gender. Let's come to our Jupyter notebook. We will add some cells. Now using curly bracket method, we will create our dictionary. The value of the first column is name. Then inside a square bracket, we will assign the value. The value are the names. I will be switching between my slide and Jupyter notebook to see the contents of table from my slide. The first name is Azad Malik. The second name is Majid Khan. So Azhar Malik, Majid Khan. The third name is Zora Qasim and Nasir Sheikh. Zora Qasim, Nasir Sheikh. And the fifth name is Umaima Amin. So this is our first column. The second column is email. And its values will be in bracket. Azhar underscore 24 at live.com. The first email. The second email is khanmajid at outlook.com. Third email is princesszora at gmail.com. The next email is sheikh94 at yahoo.com. The fifth email is umaima.amin at live.com. So this is our second column. The third column, the key is age and the values are 24, 22, 24, 24, 22, 24, 28, and 20. 24, 22, 24, 28, and 20. This is our third column, and the fourth column is gender, and the first student is Azhar Malik, it's male. The second student is Majid Khan, it's also male. The third student is Zora Qasim, it's female. The fourth student is Nasir Sheikh, it's male. The fifth student is Umaima Amin, it's female. This is our fourth column, and here we have created a dictionary. Let's run this. We are getting our dictionary like this, but we have to convert it into a tabular format, a table format like this. So to do so, let's name this dictionary as dictionary first, dictionary 01. Run this, copy the name of the dictionary, paste it, run it, and we have the dictionary. Now to convert it into a data frame, we will use the syntax pd dot data frame, and inside parentheses we will give the name of the dictionary which we want to convert into data frame. We'll run this and we have a table which is a data frame. Now let's name this data frame as students data frame 1, data frame 01 by using variable method using is equals to sign. Run this. This data frame is saved by the name students data frame 01. Let's copy and paste the name of this data frame, run it, and we have our first data frame. Now let's create our second data frame using the same dictionary. Since the first two columns of both the data frame are same, so let's copy the same dictionary and we will be editing this for the third and fourth column. The third column is department, so we will edit the name, the key of the third column, which is department, and we will also change the values. The values are business, statistics, computer science. Then the fourth is engineering, and the fifth is again business. Let's edit the fourth column, which is program. MS data science, the first program. The second program is BS statistics. The third program is B computer science. The fourth is engineering, MS architecture. And the fifth is BS accounting. Let's run this. We have our second dictionary. Now name this dictionary as dictionary 2, and then we will convert it into a data frame using pd.dataframe. So let's name this by using an equals to sign, and it's dictionary02. Run this, copy the name of the dictionary, paste and run it, and we have our dictionary2. Now let's convert it into a data frame using pd dot data frame, and inside parentheses the name of the dictionary, and run this. D of data should be capital. Run this and we have our data frame. It's our second data frame. So let's name this data frame as students data frame 02. Run it. We have our second data frame. Copy the name of the data frame, paste it and run it, and we have our second data frame. So we have created two data frames. Now we can perform some basic data analysis function on these data frames using SQL queries. We will use students data frame 1 to perform column selection, and the keyword that is used for column selection is select, and the syntax is written as SQLDF. Inside parentheses we type the query inside quotes, and the query is select the name of the column which we want to select, and from the name of the data frame from which we want to select the desired column, and the default syntax which is used to select the entire table or all columns of the table is SQLDF inside parentheses, and inside double quotes we type select star from the name of the data frame which we want to use. So let's perform this select function to select the column, and we are on Jupyter Notebook, and we will type SQLDF. Inside parentheses we will open the code to write the query, and the query will be written as select the name of the column which we want to select, and let's say we want to select the student's name and age from the data frame 1. So the name of the column, the first column is name, the second column is age, and from the name of the data frame which is students data frame 1. So we'll copy the name of the data frame from here and paste it and run this. So we have selected the column name and age from the students data frame 1 using the select function. So we have performed column selection. We can also limit this column selection to the number of rows we want to specify. For example, if we want to see just first three name, the name and age of the first three students, we will modify the query and add an argument, and we'll say limit is equals to limit is equals to 3. If we want 3 rows, we will type 3. If we want 2 rows, we will type 2. Let's say we want 3 rows or 3 students. Run this, and here we have name and age of 3 students. So we have restricted the table to 3 rows by adding an argument limit. So this is the first function we have performed using SQL query. We can also perform uh, data aggregation, and we can also perform data filtering using criteria. Based on criteria, we can perform data filtering, and We can also use variables to define queries. For example, here we have typed the entire query inside the parenthesis. We can also do this in another way. Let's add some new rows and let's say we can use variable method to define query. We copy this query and paste it and say this as query1. Let's say it's query1 01. Run this. This query is saved in this query1 variable. And now instead of typing the entire query inside parentheses, we will type SQLDF, and inside parentheses we will just type the name of the query and run this, and we will get the same result. So we can also use variable method to define queries, and in that case, instead of typing the whole query inside parentheses, we can just define and type query inside parentheses. So here we have this. Now we can also perform data filtering using SQL queries, and to perform data filter, we select a criteria, and within the query to select the columns, we add argument where and give the criteria from which we want to select, on which we want to base our selection. For example, if we want to filter our data frame based on gender, which is data frame 1, we can say that select star to select the entire data frame from data frame where gender is equals to female. This is the criteria which we have defined after using the statement where. So let's define the query. We will say select a star from the entire data frame, add some new cells, and now type the query. This is our query 02, and we will say select a star, which is default statement to select the entire table from the name of the data frame, which is students. Let's copy it instead of typing it to avoid any spelling mistake or typo error. From data frame, now we will type where, and then we will give the criteria, which is gender. And we want to filter female students, so we will say gender is equals to female. Now we have defined query. We can also use triple quotes if we are typing our query in more than one rows. Since we have typed our query in a single row, so we have used single quote. We have enclosed our query in single quote. We can also enclose our query in triple quote if we are typing our query in more than one rows. So let's run this. This query is saved in query02 variable. Now run this query by using the syntax SQLDF, and inside parentheses the name of this query, which is query02. Paste it and run this, and we have filtered our data frame. Now we can see only female students since we performed the filter using the criteria gender, and we wanted the names of female students. So here we have female students from our data frame. So this is how we can perform filter on our data frame using SQL query. We can also perform data aggregation. For example, if we want the ages of students from our data frame 1 and we want the average age gender wise, that is the average age of male students and average age of female students, then we will define our query as select average, which is the function average function, and inside parenthesis we will type the name of the column on which we want to perform average function, and then we want to perform the aggregation based on gender, so we will type the criteria gender, and then from data frame, which is data frame 01, student data frame 01, and we will group our aggregation by gender. So let's see how we can perform this. This will be our query 03. So we will define it. And now this time, let's type our query in multiple rows. Select a star the default syntax to select the entire table or data frame, and perform average function on age column. Use gender as the criteria. So we'll give comma and say gender. Then in the second row, we will say from data frame, which is students data frame 1. Let's copy the name of the students data frame to avoid any typo error. And group this aggregation by gender. So here we have defined our query. Now let's run this query using SQL and inside parentheses the name of the query, which is query 3. Let's run this. We have edited our query, and now let's run this query. So we have our aggregation performed based on gender. So if we want to filter our data frame based on degree, and we want the names of the students which are enrolled in MS programs from data frame 2, we will define the query, and it will be our query number 4. Then we'll say triple quotes. If we are writing our query in multiple rows, we will say select a star to perform search on entire data frame, and we'll say from students data frame 2. Let's copy the name of the students data frame and type 2, the students data frame 2. I hope the spelling is correct. Let's run this query and check whether I have used the correct spelling of data frame. Yes. Okay. Now I will further edit this query. I have written select star from students data frame 2 where degree its program. So its program a program like, and inside course I will say I need the students who are enrolled in MS program, and so I will say MS percentage and run this. The query is defined. Let's run this query and see what I have. So I have performed filtering based on program and filtered the data from data frame. I can also perform data filtering to see the names of the students whose age are greater than 22 years. I will define the query and it will be query number 5. Query is equals to, now triple quote to write the query in multiple rows. Select star from students data frame 2, and what I want to select, I want to select the students whose age are greater than 20 years. So I will say where age is greater than 22. Run this. The query is defined. Now let's run the query SQL df query 05. Getting error. Okay, age is in data frame 1, so I should define data frame 1 and run this. Now run the query again, and now I have the students whose age are greater than 22 years. So we have performed data filtering on data frame using SQL queries and data aggregation of using data SQL queries. So we perform data aggregation using different criteria. We can also perform data joining using SQL queries in Panda. Data joining is used to combine data from at least two tables based on some criteria, and there must be one common column in both the data frame so that that common column can be used as a criteria to join the two data frames. There are four types of data frame uh, joining. Data joining in SQL, inner join, outer join, left outer join, right outer join. In this tutorial, we will be using inner join to uh, join data from both data frame. So we will write our query as select st, the name of column, tat dot the name of the column from other data frame. St and tat are basically alias which are used to compare the data frames from which we want to extract the common or matching figures. We can define the query to perform inner join on both the data frames. Let's say it's query number 6 is equals to triple quotes to write the query in multiple columns. We will say select st is an alias which is used to perform search in two data frames based on some criteria, and we will say name, which is the name of the column, first column, then st, email, which is the name of the second column, then st age, which is the name of the third column, then st gender, which is the name of the fourth column, and then we will say annex the department column from the data frame 2. So we will say TAT. TAT is used to select the matching values to provide the output and annex the desired column in our data frame. We are performing a search in data frame 2, data frame 1 based on these criteria, and a matching criteria will be searched in data frame 1 and 2, and the output, that is department column, will be annexed in our desired output. So we say that annex department as well as program pat.program in our output. Then we will say search from data frame 1, students data frame 1, sorry, data frame 1, st the alia to perform the search, and we will say on data frame 2, inner join on data frame 2, inner join is students data frame 2, and we'll say on matching email TAT, that is search the matching column, on st email is equals to TAT email. So the query is defined. Let's run this query. So we have performed data joining using SQL queries. Thanks for watching the video. Allah Hafiz.